A top locksmith spent his entire life pouring his heart and soul into creating 4 legendary safes. Surprisingly, he then locked himself inside and sank with them into the vast, boundless sea. The old man spent his whole life researching, just waiting for the fated person to come and open his masterpiece. Regrettably, this chosen one only arrived 100 years later. But this man was just a humble bank clerk. In his free time, he passionately recorded videos of his lockpicking skills, eagerly seeking recognition from others. Even though Arthur possessed an amazing talent, able to crack a code in 8 seconds, his videos were lost in the digital ocean, unnoticed by anyone. He was trapped in a swamp of helplessness, forced to repeat the same tedious and boring work day after day, as if his life was imprisoned in a dull cage. But a turning point in fate always comes unexpectedly, and a miracle appeared on this day. A comment suddenly popped up under Arthur's video, like a dazzling lightning bolt cutting through the dark night sky, instantly filling him with excitement. The comment boldly read, "Want to test your skills? The entry password is Ragnarok." Upon seeing the word Ragnarok, Arthur's thoughts were instantly pulled back to that legendary story. This was the name of the legendary masterpiece, created by the locksmith Hans Wagner, that had sunk into the sea with him. Cracking his 4 legendary safes was a lifelong dream for Arthur. Without a moment's hesitation, Arthur set off like an arrow from a bow, full of anticipation as he rushed to the competition venue. But when he arrived, it was like having a bucket of cold water dumped over his head. This was a mysterious underground lockpicking competition. But to his complete disappointment, the Ragnarok he had longed for wasn't there at all. A wave of disappointment washed over Arthur, unaware that this competition would completely change his destiny. But before Arthur could even figure out what was happening, the judge announced the start of the competition. The other contestants immediately threw themselves into the fierce contest, while Arthur alone stood there, lost in a daze. Time flowed like a silent hourglass, slipping away second by second. Just as he was starting to come to his senses from the chaos, he was shocked to see that 2 contestants had already cracked the code. At an astonishing speed, Arthur's heart tightened, knowing that he couldn't afford a moment of slack, or he would be mercilessly eliminated. So he quickly used his exquisite skills, and in the last, thrilling moment, he narrowly won, becoming the 4th person to advance to the next round. Next, the heart-pounding second round of the competition. Swept in like a storm, the 4 of them quickly threw themselves into the intense challenge. This time, the difficulty of the safes had exponentially increased, making them daunting to look at. But unexpectedly, Longhair was once again lightning fast, the first one to successfully crack it. His proud expression seemed to be announcing his invincibility to the world. But Arthur would not be outdone. Like a stubborn lion, he followed closely behind, opening the safe and smoothly moving on to the next stage. Then, the final battle for the championship between the 2 was on the verge of breaking out. The judge solemnly announced the rules. If both of them couldn't open the safe, it would be considered a draw. Longhair's lips curled into a cold, contemptuous smile. He looked completely confident, not paying any attention to Arthur at all. With the judge's command, Longhair, like a bolt of lightning, quickly threw himself into this difficult competition. However, Arthur's actions left everyone in a fog. He just stood there quietly, silently observing his opponent's actions. It turned out that this round safe had soundproofing cotton added, making it impossible to clearly hear the sound of the gears turning. But Longhair had been prepared long ago, and he pulled out a sound amplifier. Arthur, however, was still not flustered at all. He slowly extended his hand, gently placed his palm on the dial, and used his mind to deeply feel the internal structure of the safe. The audience was also completely baffled by Arthur's behavior, and many shook their heads and sighed. But Arthur not only didn't rush to open the lock, he even started chatting with his opponent, which was truly perplexing. Everyone thought Arthur had given up the competition. As time ticked by, with less than a minute left on the countdown, he was still continuing to interfere with his opponent's operations. It was then, with the final 30-second countdown sounding, that Arthur finally began his legendary maneuver. Like a calm and composed master, he serenely turned the dial. The internal gears of the safe slowly rotated with it, and the sound they made was like a beautiful and melodious piece of music. His movements were light and graceful, as if he were performing an art show. Under the astonished gazes of the crowd, Arthur effortlessly and easily opened the safe. In an instant, the entire venue erupted in thunderous applause, and Arthur became the most dazzling presence on the stage. And just then, a beautiful and distant-looking woman in the crowd instantly caught Arthur's eye. A strange feeling surged in Arthur's heart, but he had no idea that this very woman would completely change the course of his life.